Greetings, Divine Mirrors. Welcome to day 14 of the 21-day daily 7-minute gratitude rant challenge. I'm grateful. I am 2/3 of the way through. How are you doing? Are any of you joining me on this? I haven't seen any pledges to that effect. However, you could be doing it in secret, not wanting to be held accountable like I am, and I can certainly understand that. Today, I want to talk about something that came up for me during the night, and it has come up before, only this time was really strongly, and I probably spent a good many hours contemplating this, and that is that I am the source of all that I perceive. Now, that may sound pretty basic. However, if you stop and actually think about it, I am the source of all that I perceive, all that I think about, all that I observe, all that I smell and touch and taste and feel. Everything is filtered through my perception, no one else's. So the challenging news, and ultimately the good news, is that I can claim responsibility for all that I see. And by claiming responsibility for all that I see or all that I perceive, I have the capacity to have great compassion for myself and for all of my mirrors. I have the capacity to forgive myself and all of my mirrors. I have the capacity to shift into genuine gratitude for myself and all of my mirrors. I have the capacity to shift into total trust and total peace, because if I am the source of all that I perceive, then truly there is nothing for me to be afraid of, to be worried about, to be angry at. I can notice that in not realizing that I am the source of all that I perceive, that I can be angry, or I can be sad, or I can be upset, or I could be scared. And if I'm hanging out in any of those vibrations, then the energy that I am emitting is bringing more of that back to me, because this is a self-fulfilling biofeedback loop that we find ourselves in. If there's a we, in fact, I may be the only one here. And how would I know? This is a game that we are playing, that I am playing, in which I imagine that there are all these others out there with different faces and different shapes and different names and different accents or languages or opinions for this amazing, fantastical simulation that we find ourselves in. And given there has been so much in the field that I have seen through eyes and interpretations that tell me are not as they should be, that they are wrong, And this is just me and my experience and how I'm perceiving, and potentially how I have been perceiving all along since I arrived in this dimension. Early on, I made some decisions about the way life is that I have been acting out. So, to really stop and consider the truth that I am the source of all that I perceive. There's no one else but me inside of me that is interpreting the data that I experience. So it is my interpretation that becomes the cause of my experience. And if I want to shift into holy, divine, and grace filled experiences, then I need to choose to perceive everything as divine and grace filled. Am I making sense to my other selves out there? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It would be so amusing for this embodiment to have the experience of getting so much agreement out there from these other selves that appear to be witnessing this incarnation. So, thank you for hanging with me through day 14. And it is my full intention to be back tomorrow for day 15. I'll see you then. Have a great weekend.